I don't know right now what I want as far as
Okay.
your risk rating. We'll get a risk rating figured out next week and send it out to everybody.
Okay, going back to line 23, I just changed the wording in there to make it more specific. Does the appraiser correctly identify the subject site? You're going to check with the preliminary title report. It's kind of a repeat of lines 1 through 4, so we could even get rid of that question if you want.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to find out what you really want me to say here. Okay, all right. I'm going to delete that. Okay.
Yeah, this just follows the URAR, and it goes down to the site section.
Okay.
So we can get rid of that because basically we've already answered it up on top. If not, we're going to be answering the same question
and again,
twice.
like site size, we don't really have a way. You know, we're sitting here at our desks with no resources, so.
Well, just kind of a good rule of thumb, if the legal description matches, the legal description in the title report matches the legal description in the appraisal, then we can, I think we're safe to assume that that site size is correctly reported.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes that preliminary title report is going to show a size, but a lot of the times it doesn't. 25 is just informational line. 26, I haven't made any changes. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, this is another one. How do we know if it was accurately described? We've never been what community standards are. Yeah.
Well, the appraiser is going to state if it meets community standards or not.
Okay.
Yes, he's going to state on that line if it meets community. If it's a house in a subdivision that all has sewer hookups, but that house has a leach field or a septic tank, then the appraiser is going to mark it no there. Yeah. Okay, one of you had a question on this private sellers line. See if I can find it.
That's your private road.
Yes, I think we're okay there, yeah.
I think we need to reword that question a little bit. Private road, not private seller. Yeah.
Non-conforming illegal use. The appraiser is going to state that in the report, so you can mark that. Most of the time, that's going to be marked yes. If the appraiser has identified it as an illegal or non-conforming use, and then he hasn't talked about it on page 2, about its impact on value, that's the only time you're going to mark that no. Line 29, no changes there. I don't think anybody had any questions on that one. Line 30, there was no questions on that one. Okay, line 31. Line 31 and line 33, I think we can get rid of either one of those because it's a redundant question on line 31 and 33. So I'll leave that up to Trudy on which one we want to get rid of. We can probably get rid of line 33.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to match it to your butler.
Yeah. Line 32, there's no way for us to verify that, so you're just going to mark that yes or no as per the appraiser's reported finding.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, several of you had questions on line 35 and line 36. They're basically asking the same thing. I've gotten rid of line 35. So we'll get rid of that question because you're answering the same question twice. Line 37. You're just going to check on their sketch form. All you're going to do here is check on their sketch form, the calculated areas at the bottom of the sketch form. You're just making sure that they've correctly reported those in the body of the report. Most of that transfers automatically in form software, so you're never really going to have a problem with that. But just check the sketch table with page 1 of the form. Line 38, we're kind of getting back to our external obsolescence line on line 20. But this one also includes the physical or functional, so I left it in there. We just want to make sure that the appraiser has, if he's identified any physical deterioration or functional obsolescence, that he's explained it. Okay, oh, go ahead.
What's the desk review form?
That's the form in the appraisal software that appraisers use when they do a desk review.
So we're not,
Our question doesn't actually have that.
No, it doesn't have that. We just copied and pasted that from the desk review form. So we can get rid of all the references to that because that's a little confusing.
yeah.
But basically these questions are just following that desk review form. Yeah. Okay, a couple of you had questions on line 39. Are comparables of similar type, square footage, room, and lot size? One of you, I think there were a couple of you that asked, how do we know that? How do we know if they're similar? Well, that's going to go to question 44. Okay? And one of you had a question on this too. Are all line item adjustments less than 10%? There's no calculation showing that on the form, showing the percentage adjustment on any single line. So you're going to have to check that. You're going to have to check that. Yeah.
That we could pop up.
Uh-huh.
To be really honest, everybody, I'm a little bit concerned if you guys don't know how to tell if the comparables are of similar type, square footage, rooms, and lot size. That's what the comparable grid is for. And if you have a subject property that's 1,700 square feet and all the comps are 1,200 square feet, that tells you that they're not similar.
I was going to say you can use this line 44 as a guide to help you answer line 39.
Right.
If any one of those adjustments for gross living area, basement size, lot size are larger than 10% of the sale price, then that's going to give you an indication that maybe that comparable is not similar. Okay, let's pull up a report.
However, bracketing is appropriate.
Bracketing is
Yes, bracketing is appropriate.
Sometimes the appraiser gives you a big, lengthy explanation of why they had to use those. So, you know.
Not just a canned answer.
I think on this question, we're expecting you guys to use your underwriting experience, and does the appraisal make sense? Oh, this is a good one.
Okay, so here's page 2 of the form. If, for example, on this actual age line, on comp 3 we have a $10,000 adjustment. That's less than 10% of the $170,000 price. If this was a $20,000 or a $30,000 adjustment, which is larger than 10%, that should raise a red flag to you of, is this comparable really, truly comparable? If that's the only line that's larger than 10% and the appraiser has explained why that's the case, then it's probably a comparable that's okay to use. If they have 4 or 5 lines that are larger than 10%, then that's got to be a red flag for you.
Karen,
Yes.
Can you comment on the price per square footage and how it impacts the value reconciliation? For instance, if I've got $105 on my subject, but my comp number 2 is 97, or my comp number 3 is 80, or my comp number 3 is 150, I've got quite a range of value per square foot.
Yes.
And that, to me, indicates an issue.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Is there a guideline? Is it a dollar amount or a percentage?
No, it's usually a percentage. I mean, usually if you've got an unadjusted sale price of one of the comparables that is larger than 15 to 25% before they begin their adjustments, then that's probably an indication that that comparable probably didn't need to be used. Unless the appraiser has explained why. If it's a rural location, if you had lack of comps, if it's a unique property, then it could be appropriate for that sale to be used. But if it's a tract home in a subdivision with 50 other homes just like it, then something that's starting out here that's different than 20 or 25%, then that's going to be a red flag to you.
Can we add that question into address that question in here somewhere in the report or in the Lazarus question? Or is there already one in there?
Whoops. There we go. No, there is no question in terms of price per square foot there.
Our old
Just
one,
the
our
one
old one,
the first one under analysis is the only one that mentions it.
Yeah.
I personally think it needs to be.
That's a good idea, Jill. Okay. Yes?
I've seen a lot of them, if the comps are 4 bedrooms and the subject's 3 bedrooms, and we have comps that are 2 and 4, that's okay.
Yes.
But they're putting every detail of the differences. So can you kind of elaborate on that?
Oh, on this question, on the bed and bath count, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go find it again.
I mean,
Where did
it's
it
more
go?
for if we have a 1-bedroom home and it's compared to all 3 and 4 instead of just standard.
Well, and you want to make sure that the appraiser has bracketed those sales too. If he has a 4-bedroom home and he's used all homes with 2 bedrooms and all the adjustments are going the same direction, how has he supported that bedroom adjustment? You know, we want to try and find, or we want to look for as underwriters sales that bracket our subject in terms of square footage, bed and bathroom count, and site size. Those are our critical adjustments.
Yeah. Is that listed in the questions? I don't see it right off the top. Maybe that should be added as
39
well.
is the, yeah.
But what we're seeing come across is they think it's not okay if it's not the same exact bedroom count on every comp.
No, it doesn't have to be identical. No, it doesn't have to be identical.
That's why I'm saying maybe bracketing, using the word bracketing. That would be good.
Okay, so using the word bracketing on line 39. Okay?
I have a quick question about bracketing.
Yes.
Should the beginning sales price of each comp and the adjusted price down at the bottom after all the adjustments, should both of those bracket the value of the subject property?
The beginning price, not necessarily. The end price, definitely.
Definitely.
Yes. If
Okay,
the beginning,
I've heard
prices are all within 10% of the sale price, then it may be that they don't need to bracket that beginning price. But if they're larger, if we're talking about going back to Jill's question on price per square foot, if they're 20 or 25% different, then we probably need to have that beginning sale price bracketed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll put that price per square foot question in there. Okay, so we were on line 39.